right, welcome everybody to a special episode of The Reset. I'm your host, Last Revelation. We have Slim Williams, Slim Williams Games, of course, Your
What's
Adrenaline,
up?
Charmaine Clark, aka Char, and a special guest with us tonight, Miss Amanda. Tonight's episode is about domestic violence. This is Domestic Violence Month, and we wanted to go ahead and showcase um, um, someone who's actually been through domestic violence situation, and as well as talk about that. I know it's a touchy subject for a lot of people in the state of South Carolina. Um, but before we get started with that, we want everybody to recognize the signs of relationship abuse. At the start of of a new relationship, it's not easy for us to tell whether it become abusive or not. In fact, many abusive people appear to be ideal partners in the early stages of a relationship before possessive and controlling behaviors appear. They generally don't appear overnight, and that type of behavior may intensify as the relationship grows. Every relationship is different, and domestic violence doesn't always look the same. One feature shared by most abusive relationships is when a partner tries to gain or obtain power and control through many different methods at different moments. Some of those signs of domestic behavior or abusive behavior is telling you that you would never do anything right, showing extreme jealousy to your friends when time spent away from home, preventing or discouraging you from spending time with friends and family, insulting, demeaning you, shaming you, especially in front of other people, preventing you from making your own decisions, controlling the finances, especially in times of need when you really need something. They want to be able to control you by saying no, pressuring you into sexual acts or activities that you're definitely not comfortable with. Intimidating you through threatening looks, intimidating you with weapons like guns and knives, and destroying belongings in your home. So, Charmaine, I believe you have some statistics for us tonight about domestic violence in the state of South Carolina.
Yes. I checked earlier, and I want to start off by saying I have always been very active in the domestic violence movement. It's very near and dear to my heart because I've lost some childhood friends to domestic violence, murder, suicide, and some suicide. So I
Wow.
always participated, and it's always been, near and dear to my heart. I have never experienced domestic violence, but I have friends that have, and like I say, they have transitioned on due to this, you know, violent act, which is just unexcusable because love is not supposed to hurt, and it's definitely not supposed to lead you to your grave. That's for sure. I checked, and a few years ago, I did a domestic violence along with Jamar Washington, a domestic violence documentary
Okay.
where we highlighted five women and one man who shared their experiences with domestic violence. And back then, I think this was around 2015, we were ranked number six.
Wow.
And believe it or not, we are 2020, and my last data as of last year, we still ranked number six. So we're in the top 10 far as men murdering women. And now there's a rise of women being, violent towards men. I'm sure it has always been going on. It's just being more recognizable because men are speaking out now. So I don't want to just focus on all women because you do have men that do go through this domestic violence as well and who are coming out and sharing their stories as well. And so, I just want to, we got to do better. We have to teach our kids at a young age that love does not hurt. And as I stated earlier, it should not lead you to the grave.
Absolutely. I remember when I was little. This probably back in the late '80s.
Uh-huh.
the early 90s, where my mom would say, you know, every Friday night or Saturday night, it
Mm.
was a man being shot or burn up or something,
Mm.
in this state,
Wow.
because they would come home with their paychecks, drunk, come home and beat their wives, and their wives
Yeah.
murder them in their sleep. So I knew at that point in time that in South Carolina it was a huge issue when it comes to
Mm.
domestic violence in the state.
Yeah. Very unfortunate. Very sad. You don't want to lose no one to something that is just senseless
Yeah,
because someone
absolutely.
feels powerless. That's basically what it is.
Well, I do want to highlight a website that somebody that is experiencing issues at home, or if you know anybody that is experiencing
Yeah.
issues with domestic violence, it's called thehotline.org. This website is absolutely fantastic. It actually helps you
Mm.
create a safety plan. It offers legal help. It shows you like why people stay in abusive relationships,
Mm-hmm.
helps you understand relationship abuse. Like I said, those warning signs of abuse. It talks about internet safety, supporting your kids,
Yeah.
and also showing you how to start a conversation. And be able to talk to somebody else that either experienced the same thing and y'all guys can heal together, or help you start a conversation about what's going on with you.
Mm.
Um, and right, what we have tonight is a special guest. Her name is Amanda for the purposes of this show. But this young lady is very near and dear to me. I've known her for quite a long time and did not know
Mm.
that she was suffering um, through domestic violence. I had no idea because she put
Mm-hmm.
on such a great face. I know it sometimes I would call him like, "Hey, you okay?" I see a
Mm-hmm.
picture on Facebook where she just did not look happy.
Yeah.
Um, despite so many things that she would say to me. Oh, I'm doing fine, but the picture told the whole story. So,
Mm-hmm.
Amanda, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your journey through domestic violence, and let all our listeners and our viewers know exactly how things started with you, and how you was able to get yourself out of that situation.
Well, I can say that I never thought that I would actually be in that type of situation. 'Cause I used to watch movies and I'm like, "Nah, that'll never be me."
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it ends up like that. I gotta think about it now. But now it actually started. We wasn't. It was my child's father.
Right.
Um, he never gave any signs that he would do it. But I think he came over one day and he said he was drinking, but who really knows? But he had asked me a question because I was dating someone, but in his eyes, I guess I'm always his. I'm not sure. But he had asked me a question and I answered it truthfully.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next thing I know, because I think I had a blanket around me. So the next thing I know, I was in the air and then on the floor. Um, that shocked the hell out of me because my kids were here too. So and then, he took me in the bedroom and it just went from there. I just remember, going from the floor to the bed against the wall, him choking me. I think one point in time, I don't even think my feet was on the floor.
Wow.
I know he had pushed me up against my closet door so hard that the next day, I guess the paint got stuck. So I had to pull my door to open my closet. But that night, it was just weird because I think the only thing that saved me is because I think at the time he was maybe 13, my oldest one. He went to the neighbor and the neighbor came in because I think that's the only reason why it stopped. I did go to press charges, but then I dropped them because I thought about my child. He's because at the end of the day, he's still his daddy. Because that's what I was thinking about. And then they're always apologetic, and the detective always said that even though they are apologetic, it's gonna happen again. I was like, no, he was just drunk that night, so it's not gonna happen again. but it did. It happened again after I think I was at his grandma's house,
Oh,
and he I don't know how he got my phone, but he got my phone and we was fighting in the doorway, and his grandma was knocked out, so nobody. And I'm small, like I'm like 4'10", and he's like 6'4", 6'3", 6'4", 300 pounds. So it was his friend was there too, and his friend just looked at me and didn't even help, and that
wow.
hurt me. Yeah, it was
Mm,
it was something. And then when you talk about sexual things, yeah, he when you look back, technically it was rape because I did say
yeah.
no, you know, and he had my hands. Like I said, I'm small, so he could hold both of my wrists with one of his hands.
Mhm.
So as much as I cried out, it didn't work. Um, After that, I think New Year's of 2019, I went over to his grandma's house with my baby because his grandma had a gift for him, and my child had my phone. So I couldn't understand why I kept hearing him crying. I walked in the room and he had my phone. He was going through all my text messages. So he kicked me out of his grandma's
Mm,
house, and I'm standing next to the door, and he said something, and then he would hit my head up against the car door, and he did that about 3 times,
mm,
and that shocked me because now it's in front of my baby, like he physically put his hands on me in front of my child. But the last time before I was just like, this just can't. We were at my house again, and again he went through my phone because I don't lock it because I don't have nothing to hide. Because for one, we're not together, you know. But in his mind, I don't know what he thought. But he does that to all his baby mamas, really.
mm,
And the last one, he knew I had a gun, so he picked up my purse and he had both. He had his gun and then he had my gun pointed at
mm,
me. And then the next thing I know, I can't remember what happened, but he hit me across the face with the gun.
mm,
Jesus
Damn,
Christ.
and I block all that stuff out, and really didn't come back up until I think one day when I was coming home from Vegas. He did that to his other baby mama because I suppress a lot of shit. Like I will hide it and no one will ever know.
Mhm.
Then when that came up, I was like, she said that he did that. And I was like, nah, he wouldn't do that. But then one night I was like, oh shit, he did that shit to me.
mm.
So
Right.
it's just hard, and I didn't tell a lot of people because I like to keep the peace.
Yeah.
Because I don't, at the end of the day, he's my child's father. I ain't want him to be fatherless because my cousins would have whooped his ass. Like he wouldn't be here no more. But I ain't trying to have nobody death on my conscience. But I never thought of myself as a domestic violence person until you actually think back on it and
Mhm.
be like, yeah, I went through a lot of shit that I wasn't supposed to.
Right.
But it's crazy because at people just don't think he's like that because he puts on a facade for other people too. And so
Yeah,
it's
those are the
crazy.
signs.
But
Right.
he actually has an open case right now for it. But it's not for me, it's for another girl.
Amanda hit on a lot of points where she talks about power and control.
Yep.
And basically, throughout her entire story here, that's all you hear in the entire story is power and control. Hey, we're not together, but you still mine. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? No, you can't talk to this person or talk to that person. Who are you talking to on your phone? Going through her personal items. All of that is about power and control. Um, I have witnessed domestic violence sitting in the car of a Walmart, and I was sitting
Mm,
in the car and I was waiting on my grandmother to come out, and I watched this guy follow this girl, snatch her phone from her. When she tried to get it back, he punched her like she was a 400-pound man, like it was an like MMA. He decked this
mhm.
so hard, and it enraged me to the point where I had to grab my gun out of my car and fly over there to her in my car and jump out and hold this guy at gunpoint
Wow.
in a Walmart parking lot to prevent him from stomping this woman. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's ridiculous that women and men, because there's a lot of men that suffer in silence, that they feel like, oh, you know, somebody's going to think of me, you know, this type of way, or I'm not much of a man because, you know, I get abused at home or get abused by a woman. And it's time to break free from all of that. And I'm happy that Amanda was able to, you know, break free from her situation, you know, with her life, with absolutely with her life. So I mean, like I said, so if you know anybody that's dealing with this, that's dealing with any type of domestic abuse, I ask everybody to get help. And there's a national hotline through the same website, the hotline.org. So 1-800-799-SAFE. That's 1-800-799-SAFE. SAFE is 3224. So please call the number, go to the website. They, like I said, they have little tips and tricks that shows you how to navigate the site and to be able to exit just in case your spouse or a loved one or you know person comes in on you. And then it also teaches you how to delete your cookies. So, you know, if they get on the internet behind you, you cannot be tracked trying to seek help. And of course, if things get really bad, skip the phone number and just dial 911. Absolutely. Anybody else that's had experience, especially, you know, seeing domestic violence, and what did you do about it?
I just want to commend Amanda for being brave enough to tell her story, because your story can really shine the light and help somebody else, Amanda. So I think you are a strong woman to share what happened to you. And I really want to thank you for sharing your story, because as you're talking and speaking, I've never been in a domestic violence relationship before, but it just gives me a second and a moment to reflect on my actions of what I've done in my past relationships. I've never put my hands on anybody, you know, these hands is crucial, but I know,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? You know, they call me
Oh
him,
my
you know
God.
what I'm saying? But you know, I've never ever, honestly, I've never gotten to a fight in my life. Not that I got, maybe with my brother, like we were small, you know, but it just makes me reflect on some things that I've done when it comes to trying to control someone and not doing what I should have done in some of my past relationships. So again, Amanda, thank you so much for sharing. I really do appreciate it.
And I'm gonna jump on in. Amanda, when you told that story about your baby daddy, I'm gonna be flat up honest on this podcast. I was him.
Yeah.
I was him. Now I'm, you know, and when you as you was talking and telling the story, I was thinking to myself, damn, that was me. I came home angry, frustrated, mad, and the woman I was with got into it, and I did some sucker type stuff. I yelled at her, cussed at her. We got in arguments, looked through her phone, and real jealous, controlling type. Would freak out if she wasn't home, and we got into it a couple of times where I pushed her into a mirror, and we got into it one time where I literally pushed her out the car, literally like pushed her out the car and pushed her into a car. Like just did a bunch of bullshit.
Like while it was moving?
I mean, no, I pulled over and then
okay.
Yeah, but you know, but I did.
Still not funny.
No, it's not funny. I was like, come on.
As she was telling her story, I thought about. I said, "Damn, that's exactly how I was." Now, thank God, far as me, I caught my own snap before I let it get to. Because I realized what I was doing wasn't cool, wasn't right. Obviously, there's something wrong with me for me to react like this. And so I realized this is not a good situation. Nobody should get that mad at their spouse. I get you frustrated. You got life. A person that pissed you off, but nobody should get that mad to the point where they get to the point where they can't be controlled, because that type of feeling you have when you're running around trying to be controlling and all that, that ain't nothing but, I'm gonna be honest with you, nothing but a weak ass type of mentality. You can't control my brother, I'm gonna be honest with you, my brother Travis and my other brothers saved me, because they told, especially Travis, he told me, look, there's nothing you can do with nobody else. If they want to do what they're gonna do, it's nothing you can do to stop them. All this anger, all of this frustration, this cussing, this pushing, is not gonna do a damn thing at the end of the day, but put your ass in jail. And I literally had to catch my own snap and say, wait a minute, I need to go get some help. Obviously, what I'm doing is not right. It's not cool. And when you were telling that story, man, it brought back a lot of the stuff, man. But I can't say that I am now in control of. I don't let none of that stuff get to the point where I will blow up, or like how I used to do, because I got to a mature place in my mind and my life and say, you know what, I'm not gonna let what nobody else does affect me to the point where I can't control myself, and I end up putting myself in a situation I don't want to be in. I mean, I was running up on people over a woman. I was wanting to fight people over a woman, fight family over a woman, cussing people out, just acting a damn fool because I didn't have my sorry ass emotions in check. And so I literally had to get to a point where I had to tell myself, look, this is not cool. You need to either get out of this situation or go get some help. Because just like you said, just because you get out of a situation doesn't mean you're fine. You have to want to seek help personally to change your behavior.
Yeah, you gotta be able to heal yourself, and
right.
And to piggyback on what Jerron has said, Jerron was really moving towards a God level ass whooping.
Yeah.
And I'm not even saying that to crack no jokes, but you know, he know how I feel when it comes to, you know, that type of behavior towards a woman, period. I don't care. You walk away, you the male in the situation. I don't care. I don't give a damn what happens. If she ain't pulling out no AK or no pistol, you know what I'm saying? All you can walk away from it, despite how it may make you feel or may make you look. You can walk away from that situation. And it took a lot of talking to Jerron. It took a lot of praying to, you know, for him to understand and to bring him out of that spirit, to where he's going to want to, you know, get help for himself. Jerron is in a situation to where, you know, he doesn't have kids yet, you know, so he doesn't have anybody to be able to see this type of behavior and mimic that type of behavior in the future. Most people who have kids who's been in abusive relationships, where they see this type of abuse, their marriages, this type of abuse happen, despite how much that child says, I'm never going to do this when I get older. Sometimes these children are grown-ups now, find themselves doing that exact same thing like their mama did or like their father did. So, you know, I just wanted to be able to get in and break that generational crap even start. I just wanted to break it from the beginning. And the bottom line is, you are the male, you need to act like it. You need to get your feelings together. This woman is allowed to have friends. This woman is allowed to talk to other males. That just because she's talking to somebody don't mean that's, you know, she's doing anything. This woman is allowed to get things on her own without your help. You know, and she is not joint to you on the hip to where she got to be codependent all the time. So, you know, I just, you know, getting his mentality straight with that situation, it took some time, but he was able to channel that energy elsewhere. You know, into his podcast, into his YouTube channels, into his work, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, it goes to show on both ends, it was coming on both sides.
Right. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Thank you for
saying?
bringing
So
that up.
now
Trey.
you
Yeah.
able,
Seriously.
now you able to
Wow.
look back and see, well, hold a minute, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
My behavior was bouncing off her behavior,
Right.
and
Mhm.
her behavior was bouncing off my behavior.
That's right.
Yeah, and
The
that's what
relationship
keeping
was
this
toxic.
toxicity together.
Right.
Yeah, it's toxic.
That's right.
Well, I'm like this. Anytime someone gets you out of your character, then you don't need to be with them.
That's right.
And we need, like I say, love does not hurt. And I
Right.
know in a lot of times relationships, some people result to fighting and arguing, which is
Mhm.
toxic, and they
Right.
think that's love. And
Yeah,
that is
right.
not. That is not the definition of love. You hit me and we go make up. That is not love.
Right.
If you have to get that type of excitement in the bedroom, then you need to reevaluate some things. And that's just one example.
And let me just
That's just
say
one
this.
example of many.
Oh, and let me just say this. I didn't mean to cut you off, Charmaine. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
But let
no.
me just say that I didn't grow up in a situation where my father or my mother was fighting. I ain't never seen them fight or argue
That's
at
true.
all.
That's
It was
absolutely
just
true.
that's right. It was something internally with me going on that I never
Mhm.
got corrected. And I thought in my mind the only way to be the man is to lash out in anger and frustration, and that's not the way to do it. So guys out there, if you are dealing with the same thing, like how Amanda's uh, boyfriend, ex-boyfriend at the time was doing, and how I was doing, that ain't the move. That ain't cool. That don't give you no cool points. That ain't
Exactly.
something to brag. I'm not up here bragging. That ain't nothing to brag about. That is something that's gonna land your ass dead or in jail.
That's correct.
Two places. You can pick either one the fastest you want to, but I'm telling you, I learned from a hard lesson. It ain't worth it. If you that mad, like Travis said, walk away, go somewhere else, keep it moving. And for the women too. If the guys out there getting abused, hey man, leave. Do whatever you gotta do
Exactly.
to get the hell out the way, because I'm telling you, and I learned. Thank God I'm telling you, if I'm telling you guys, I was on a bad road to nowhere fast. If I hadn't have caught my snap and hadn't made the decision to make a serious change for myself, regardless if this woman's gonna be in my life or not, I had to change, because if not, I was gonna bring this type of behavior to the next person, Like Miss Amanda said, the lady, the other woman said, "Look, he did it to me. He is, and this stuff can't happen." So just get your emotions together. Whatever it is you got dealing with, go get you some counseling, go get you some help, go figure something else out. But the way you're going on about this, like how I was, it's not going to end well, and it's not.
Absolutely.
And some
go
of
ahead,
those
Charmaine.
friends, some of those friends, those homeboys, check your homeboy.
Yes.
I mean, you're not a real friend if you know your homeboy hitting up on his child mother or his girlfriend,
Right.
what have you.
Yeah, you definitely part of the problem. You know,
Right.
you sit
Exactly.
and watch that. But the website, the hotline.org, please go to the website. Even if you're trying to get help from just to stop yourself from being abusive, that's 1-800-799-SAFE.
Yeah.
It's 1-800-799-SAFE. Please take advantage of all the help that they got. I know a lot of women feel like they can't leave because they have nothing. I don't have a roof over my head. I don't have any money. I don't have any of this. You can plan slowly and seek services through this website that's going to get you and your family, you and your kids, to a safe place and help you start over. So please check out the website. That's the hotline.org. We got about 6 minutes. Amanda, do you have anything else you want to say to us tonight? Miss Amanda?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, I said no, I'm good.
Okay. Anybody else tonight?
I just want to
Go ahead.
tell Jerron thank you for sharing his side of how he dealt with it and how he corrected and discovered the wrong that he was doing within himself. I mean, some people aren't there yet, you know. So I really thank both of you guys because we have two different sides of a similar story
Mhm.
that we're talking about tonight. So I just want to thank y'all because y'all really had me over here thinking about stuff that I've done in my past. So thank you so much for educating us tonight.
All right, Amanda, I want to thank you for definitely coming in and sharing your story with us
Yes.
tonight. And
Yes,
also, we want all of our viewers and people that's just discovering our channel to like, comment, and subscribe. You can find us on YouTube at The Reset Podcast. You can also find us on Twitter at podcast_reset and on Facebook at Podcast Reset on Facebook. So we definitely posting our content on all three platforms. We'll be posting definitely some things to uplift your spirit throughout the day, especially some memes that I've created about how land don't have no job.
Oh yeah, we keep
doing so
the dumbness going. Just let you know.
That's right.
We keep the dumbness going. We keep the ignorance here. That's right.
You know what I'm saying? But you can
That was
definitely find
so-
us there on our social media pages. We thank y'all guys for checking in tonight. Thank you and have a good night.
Peace.
Peace.